Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, I'm at work now. Well, not totally at work yet. I got about 18 minutes to clock in. Well, till I have to clock in. But I wanted to come on here and talk about Money in the Bank. Now, I didn't watch the event. I followed it via Twitter and social media. I did watch certain moments, live as they happened, or went back and rewound the live feed on WWE Network to see the moment happen. I did watch a bit of the replay, um, especially the ending to the women's Money in the Bank match and even the result of that later on. Now, I did, of course, react online. Well, I didn't say anything online, but I couldn't say anything online as a result of what I found out of the ending to the men's Money in the Bank matchup. I think the Lexman's reaction pretty much speaks volumes, if you will. It speaks volumes, and honestly, I don't think you can blame him or anybody else, because it's like, look, because basically the way they look at it is WWE, up to that point had a decent pay-per-view with a few hiccups here and there, but it wasn't bad, and the men's match was even decent. It was pretty good. That is until you got the ending. But why? That's the question as to why. And my only assumption is they're either going to have Seth drop the belt back to Brock because Seth has his back injuries or is dealing with back issues, or they want Seth to go up against Brock and beat him again, kind of prove that his victory at WrestleMania was not a fluke. So, I'm only guessing that's what it is, because I know the last thing people want is the Universal Championship to go back to Brock, because essentially, what's the point? Essentially, what's the point of putting the belt on somebody else if it's just going to go to Brock? Because what they're going to see in the long run, hold on for a second. Sorry about that, but like I said, essentially what they're going to see in the long run is nothing more than just WWE pandering to the crowd during certain events like WrestleMania. It's like, oh, okay, you complain enough, well, give the belt to somebody else. And that's what they do. They put the belt back they put the belt on someone like Seth or whoever, Owens, Goldberg, whatever. And then what do they do? They decide, okay, time's up, now to go back to Brock. It's like, really? So you're just going to give the belt to Brock, and that's it. So that's what a lot of people have issues with, and they're having a fear of, that WWE is just going to put it back on Brock because, okay, we gave you what you wanted, now you're going to give us what we want, now you're going to allow us to have what we want. So I don't know. Maybe they'll do a story, maybe they'll follow up on it, maybe they might do a storyline tonight, because rumor is nobody knew about Brock being there except for maybe a few people, and hopefully they played that up. Maybe they played up that Triple H and Stephanie didn't know, and that all Brock did was ruin a great match and take away an opportunity. So we'll see what happens. My guess is, this is what I'm guessing, they're either going to let him cash it in, say he's going to cash in at Super Showdown, or they're going to have a storyline where Brock vacates the briefcase, basically relinquishes it. He relinquishes the briefcase in return, that he gets his rematch with Seth Rollins at Super Showdown, and then the following week we have a redo like we've had before with these matches with the participants of the Money in the Bank match on Raw, to where we get an official winner. We get a real winner, a real Money in the Bank participant. So, yeah, I'm guessing that's what's going to be. I'm guessing that's what it's going to be. I'm hoping it is. I know everybody else watching this probably hopes it is. But that's not the only thing about Money in the Bank. That's not the only thing, guys. You see, something else happened at Money in the Bank as well. One of the other things that happened was, of course, Bayley. I think I mentioned at the beginning, or did I? I don't know. No, because I'm checking the time, because I got to clock in just a little bit, about 13, 12 minutes. But yeah, Lacey faced, not Lacey, but Bailey, I should say. Bailey won the women's Money in the Bank matchup. I saw that. This is what I'm talking about when I said I went back and saw the moments, you know, a little bit after they happened or whatever, and even in the replay. And not Lacey, but Bailey, I loved how she got the briefcase, because basically it looked like Sonya Deville was going to basically help Mandy Rose become Miss Money in the Bank. Basically, literally hand her the briefcase on a silver platter. I love Bailey's reaction here. I love what she does. She climbs that ladder, and I think somebody put it best. I think it was the Lex Man or somebody, but somebody put it. I think it was Alex. He basically stated that when Bailey climbed up that ladder, she gave Mandy and Sonya a look like, "Really, bitch?" Excuse my language, God, but like, "Really, bitch?" And I honestly saw that reaction too. I mean, I saw that look that she gave him too, like, "Seriously, man?" I mean, she basically gave Mandy a look like, "Seriously? You're not going to do it on your own? You're going to have her help?" I don't think so. And she literally just shoves him off like, "Nope, not today." So yeah, Bailey gets the briefcase, and then later on cashes it in successfully and becomes Miss Money in the Bank. I mean, well, yeah, Bailey does become Miss Money in the Bank, what I'm saying, but then she cashes it in later on and becomes SmackDown Women's Champion, and in a sense, becomes the first of the 4 horsewomen to be a Grand Slam champion. You don't know what I mean? Someone posted this on Facebook. I think they also did it on Twitter. They basically said she became the first to do so. I don't know if WWE.com is going to acknowledge it, but she's the first to win every single women's championship currently in WWE. Except for the NXT UK title. That's the exception, because that came later on after she was already on the main roster. But if you count her winning the NXT championship, and then you count the main roster championships, she's done something that Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky have not done. She's been Raw Women's Champion. She's been Women's Tag Team Champion, the first Women's Tag Team Champions in a long while. She became Miss Money in the Bank. And as of last night, she became SmackDown Women's Champion. Well, both, Miss Money in the Bank and SmackDown Women's Champion as of last night. So, the question is, why did they do this? I mean, we knew Charlotte was going to probably win, but not walk out with the championship. Like, she was going to become champion, but she wasn't going to walk out with the championship. It was like it didn't matter who was going to win the briefcase, that person was going to cash in. And in this case, it was Bailey. Now, some say that Bailey winning the briefcase and then cashing in successfully is a big FU, a big middle finger to Sasha by WWE, saying, "Yeah, see what Bailey did? See what Bailey's become? See what happened to Bailey last night, Sasha? That was you." They're basically telling Sasha. I think what some people are assuming is they're sending a message to Sasha saying, "See, if you didn't take your ball and go home or throw a fit because you weren't getting what you wanted, or you didn't like the way things were going." Like I was saying, or you didn't like the way things were going, this could have been you. This could have been your moment and not Bailey's. That's the message they sent to Sasha from the perspective of a lot of people, that if Sasha hadn't decided to walk off and say, I don't want to deal with this anymore because she wasn't getting treated the way she wanted, they're basically saying, "Look, see your BFF? See your BF? We just made her Miss Money in the Bank. And in the same night, we made her SmackDown Women's Champion. That could have been your moment. But you decided not to, you decided to take your ball and walk." So, sorry about that there. So that's what a lot of people are assuming is why WWE gave Bayley the briefcase and gave Bayley the championship. That's what they're assuming. Now, as far as Lacey and Charlotte goes, or Charlotte and Lacey goes, my theory, my speculation, I could be wrong about this, but it seems that back on Raw, during the contract signing, or after it, and then even as of last night, it seems WWE likes pairing these two together. I mean, they teased a little confrontation at the Royal Rumble, right? And now all of a sudden you have these two working together as of last Monday on Raw. As a week ago, I'm trying to say a week ago today on Raw. As well as you basically had them working together last night, right, after Charlotte's victory and Lacey helping her get that victory. So the question is, why are Charlotte and Lacey working together? My speculation, my theory, WWE is going to put them together as a tag team. That's what I'm thinking. They could still work the individual feuds, Lacey against Becky and Charlotte against Bayley. But I think what WWE is setting up is just setting up these two to be a tag team, because they want to put the tag team. Because here's what I think they want to do. They want Charlotte to go down as the greatest women's champion of all time, right? Well, at the same time, they're basically pushing her to be the greatest women's wrestler in the company's history. And what better way to do that than to not only be the greatest women's champion of all time with the most reigns as a women's champion, even breaking Trish Stratus's record, two reigns prior, or 2 reigns ago. Basically, breaking, like I said, Trish's record about a reign ago, during her 8th, when she won her 8th title. But basically, I think what WWE wants to do is establish Charlotte as the greatest women's wrestler by having her also eventually win the women's tag team titles. I think that's what they're planning. I honestly do. I don't think there's no avoiding it. I mean, why all of a sudden are they having her team up with Lacey, or double team people with Lacey at her side? It's because they're planning, maybe, again, I could be wrong, but it looks like to me they're planning to put these two together as a tag team. And it would make sense. Both have similar characters, not identical, but similar in a way, because both think they're superior to everybody else. Lacey thinks she's better than everybody because everybody to her is a nasty. Charlotte thinks she's better than everybody and all the women's wrestlers because she's a Flair and she's the queen and she's a 9-time women's champion, if you will. So it would make sense for these two to be paired together as a tag team. Now you might say, well, what about the wild card rule? Not the wild card, but, I'll get to that in a moment. But you might be saying, well, wait a minute, both are on different brands, right? Well, if they want to push this wild card rule that they suddenly came up with, what better way to really take advantage of it and push it than to state that, hey, if certain women and men want to go back and forth between shows every now and then, or every other week, why not have some of those men and women probably team up with somebody on one show and become a tag team? And then they could travel back and forth. That to me would be taking advantage and pushing, or taking advantage of it, because Charlotte would still want to get her hands on Becky. There's still something there. And Lacey would want to get her hands on Becky. Bayley, of course, could go back and forth, even if she's the SmackDown Women's Champion. She hasn't done that yet. So, what better way to take advantage of the rules and have both Lacey and Charlotte show up on both shows whenever than to have them as a tag team? And I think that's what this is leading towards. I mean, to me, it seems obvious that that's what they're planning with these two. Because like I said, if they're pushing Charlotte to be the greatest, if their plan is to push Charlotte to become the greatest women's wrestler athlete in the company's history by only being the greatest women's champion, by winning multiple championships, maybe even tying her father's record for 16 reigns, which a lot of people feel is inevitable. But at the same time, have her become a tag team champion as well. Have her add the tag team championships to her resume. That's what I'm assuming they might do. That's what I'm assuming they may do. So, to me, that's why you had Lacey help her last night. That's why you've had them teaming together over the past week or so, and even as of last night. I think the plan is to put them together as a tag team so that they can both go back and forth on both shows because of this wild card rule, and both could probably challenge and become the women's tag team champions. I think it's inevitable because you think about the fact that the plan is to probably put the belts on Kairi Sane and Asuka eventually. What better challengers for them to have besides maybe Fire and Desire than let's say Charlotte and Lacey. It makes sense. It makes sense in my opinion. So, but anyway, that's all I'm going to say, guys. I got to get into work now. But let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And I will talk to y'all later.